and Drago
with Ramen for the Soul
episode 2
of Arcs and Archetype Naruto. So, last time we left off with Naruto fighting Orochimaru, going 5 tails.
4.
Oh, it's 4. Yeah, 4. Going 4 tails against Orochimaru. And the metaphors in it, like Yamato being a metaphor for the archetype of the father, using Hashirama cells to help pull Naruto out of the Nine-Tails chakra cloak. So right after that fight with Orochimaru, it cuts to Sasuke right before Orochimaru tries to do the essence transfer and take over his body. So the snake tries to devour the
Hawk, would it be in this point?
For the metaphor, I don't know if Hawk works.
I just know that's what Sasuke is referred to in Naruto sometimes.
Yeah, but it's more the snake attempts to snake a dragon or a demon attempts to swallow Sasuke's soul. For would be what the metaphor is.
Yeah.
Not just like the snake being stupid and going after the hawk, like going after what is its predator. Like that is in there too. Like that metaphor is there too. But
it would be more like the demon finally cashing in on, like, you know, when you sell your soul and stuff.
Yeah.
When you cashing in on that favor.
Pretty much. Because that's what going to Orochimaru was. He was basically selling his soul for more power.
Yeah.
So it's the demon trying to cash out on their deal. And then Sasuke is just like, not going to happen, bro.
Nope, that ain't going down, buddy.
And then defeats Orochimaru. And after defeating Orochimaru, he puts a small ragtag band together to go after Itachi. He gets Jugo, Karin, and
Suigetsu called themselves the Heavy at that point because their whole sole mission was locating Itachi and finding him.
And then you could see the water guy, Suigetsu. I don't know what he's supposed to, what you could say he's a metaphor for, but Karin and Jugo. Karin would be Sasuke's willingness to sacrifice others for his goal, because she's not only a great tracker, but if you drink her blood, it heals you.
Yeah.
So it's Sasuke is sacrificing someone else's life force.
And it go deeper now I think about it, because not even just her life. You think about it, she was in love with Sasuke too, so he was doing it emotionally as well, because not only using her for her power, but using the fact that she loved him as well to bring her on the team so she'd do anything for him.
Yeah, so he was not just physically abusive where you have to bite her to get her blood, but he was also willing to emotionally abuse someone that was in a dark place.
And this would be the interesting part, but could you also say that this is also him sort of becoming the same devil he sucked power from?
Yeah, it would be him starting to exhibit the demonic tendencies. Beforehand, we didn't really see him sacrifice other people.
Right.
We saw him attempt to sacrifice Naruto for Mangekyou Sharingan, but he couldn't bring himself to do it.
Nope.
But here we see the small, baby steps to that point.
And it really is baby steps, because even at that point, you're only thinking about him finding Itachi. You're not even thinking about everything he's going through to find him. He done pretty much emotionally and physically started abusing Karin. You said, the only thing I can think of Suigetsu if you think about it in the same kind of taking advantage kind of thing, Suigetsu wanting Zabuza's sword and also wanting to like get power for himself. He's probably just an innocent bystander. I don't know.
Well, not innocent.
Yeah, that's
but
wrong word.
He just needs someone useful. Like he needs a useful idiot, basically. And then he takes Jugo with him because Jugo's where his curse mark comes from.
Yeah.
So that's why he wants Jugo. And then they set off to find Itachi. And we get a little bit of Jiraiya's backstory because he has started to chase down Pain.
At the same time.
Yeah. And so he goes to the village hidden in the rain. And we get a little bit of Jiraiya's backstory. And we learn, like, the crux of Naruto Shippuden, like, why it exists, is a prophecy Jiraiya received when he was younger. Because he would have had to get it in like his 20s or early 30s. Because he received the prophecy before he met the 3 kids.
Yeah.
So he would have had to been in his 20s. I think like late 20s, early 30s when he got the prophecy. Because I don't think we know how old he is. We just see his relatively young.
Yeah,
Like,
we get the young version of him when he's like a delinquent, just wanting to go around and wander and travel and stuff, and then he doesn't really become like, you know, the Shippuden side when they're like, you know, older and stuff. It just kind of goes straight into adulthood for him, and that's when we see him on the team during that mission where he saw the 3 kids, and then he took them in, took care of them and stuff.
well, we don't know about him taking care of him yet. We just know he chose to help some kids.
Yeah.
We don't know much about it. And then he fights Pain, and Pain is his power set, at least, is based off Buddhism, the 8 paths of Buddhism.
Wow.
Yeah, like I believe Kishimoto talked about it in a interview. That's why each of the Pains has a different power. Yeah, and you can see it as the 6 paths.
Right aspiration, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness,
Yeah.
right concentration.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then what's it called? Nagato would be concentration, and then the 8 path is Madara,
Okay.
because Madara's the head,
Yeah.
is in charge of him. Yeah, that's
Yeah, because he's doing everything amounts, you know, because of his order at that point.
Yeah, he successfully manipulates Pain into waging a war for him, so that he can achieve something that
Wait,
we'll
so-
talk about way later.
Yahiko wouldn't be days?
No, he's the first.
Okay.
Because remember, he's Pain Tendo.
So he would be right view.
His yeah, because remember, he has the right view of the world.
Yeah, he set the viewpoint for everything. It's his view of why Nagato did everything he did.
Yeah, he gives Nagato his view of the world because Nagato takes on his dream. And then, what's it called? Jiraiya and Pain fight. You see that Sage style is almost a perfect counter to Pain.
Almost, yep.
He just happens to have the ability to rebuild the destroyed bodies. And so Jiraiya uses this to get intel to let Naruto know how to beat Pain, because he knows he can't beat Pain with his incomplete Senju.
Right. Because he kind of opened the door for showing Naruto what it took to beat an enemy like that, which also subsequently he used to beat every enemy after that. So very, very pivotal point.
And then also we see after Jiraiya gets stabbed in the back and him throwing the water, we see him being laid to rest in the place that he thought in the land he thought he found the savior of the world, which is like a good he in the land of the rain is where he thought he met the student. So it's fitting that he dies and is buried in the water. It's fitting that he dies and is buried in the depths of the water where his thoughts of who would save the world died. Like, because after training Naruto, he understands Naruto's correct. So the part of him that thought Nagato was the savior, that part of him died. So it's fitting that...
Even so, because as he's descending into those depths, he's recollecting and reiterating that Naruto is that child of prophecy.
Yeah.
So him going in those depths is the death, death of Nagato being that child of prophecy and resurfacing the idea that Naruto is exactly the one he's been looking for, the one he's wrote about.
It's like, it's the death of Jiraiya dying is the death of... Because Nagato doesn't... Like, because we're not there yet, it's hard to show it, but Nagato is the death of... Or him dying there shows that Nagato isn't the child of prophecy because Nagato hasn't come up with an answer yet, but Naruto has the potential to come up with the answer. It's like really drawn out that way, but that's how it looks.
That's definitely a different look at it when I'm sitting here thinking about it, because wow, Jiraiya really did, he really believed that Nagato was that one for a while, a long while. And I don't know if the show itself explicitly points out the point in which Jiraiya changed his mind.
It does.
Which one was that?
It's a flashback with Naruto while they're during the 2 years that they're away from the village, when they're sitting at a shrine and he's talking to Naruto about the prophecy. He's just like, I was told by somebody that I'm going to train someone that knows how to stop the cycle of hatred. And Naruto's like, I'm trying to remember exactly what Naruto says to him, but Naruto says something along the lines like, if they said you train them, I believe in you, so I believe you train the person that's gonna do it. Something along those lines. Because the flashback pops up when Naruto's telling Nagato, trying to come up with an answer for Nagato.
Yeah. Okay. That does sound great. Need to get back into that.
And then we go straight from Jiraiya dying on the same day. Sasuke finds Itachi and attacks him.
Still wild that happened the same day.
Yeah, it's just hours apart. Just hours apart. And it's something that you think would be days or months apart. And so, when in his fight with Itachi, it's actually kind of crazy because he starts by just throwing a crap ton of fire at him. Mm-hmm. And this entire time, you're just there's no point. You can't hit him. Or that's what Itachi's trying to tell him. And Sasuke's just nah, bro, I'm just trying to create thunderclouds.
Nah, Sasuke's genius was definitely displayed in his fight with Itachi, but we all know Itachi's genius was just a little bit higher.
Well, Itachi, the only reason they fight is so Itachi can completely render Sasuke's, what's it called?
The curse mark.
Well, he wants Sasuke to run out of chakra so that the small piece of Orochimaru that's still in him.
So Itachi kind of, sort of, preserving Sasuke's soul even at this time.
Yeah, so there's a little bit, if you remember, there's a little remnant of Orochimaru inside, because when Orochimaru tries to devour Sasuke, so he has to leave a part of himself inside Sasuke because it's that part of him is trying to eat Sasuke. But since Sasuke survived, Sasuke ate that part of Orochimaru instead. So there's a small part of Orochimaru. And Itachi, since he's going to die from his sickness anyway, just wants to use the last bit of his power to force that bit of Orochimaru out of Sasuke so he can slay it. Because it's almost like his Susanoo was custom made to save his brother's soul.
You remember why, don't it?
Remember
Itachi Susanoo had the Totsuka blade.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because now you just mentioned that, I started thinking about it. Bruh, Orochimaru said in that same fight, he had been looking for the Totsuka blade. And he said, you're the one that had it the whole time? And I think about it, dude, Orochimaru was in the Akatsuki first. And he was looking for the Totsuka blade, but Itachi had it the whole time. So it goes back to saying how Itachi saved Sasuke's soul, because he had to have known about Orochimaru's power and how
remember he specifically they were teammates before, remember?
Yeah.
And that's when Orochimaru became obsessed with making Uchiha, not necessarily Itachi, but just Uchiha. It's the one that he became obsessed with, made him obsessed with the Uchihas. But it's the Orochimaru is the one, or Itachi is the reason Orochimaru is so obsessed with getting the Sharingan, because he saw how strong Itachi's is. So Itachi probably planned for that and got the blade a long time ago, specifically so when he sent his brother after Orochimaru for the power, because he knew Orochimaru would agree to Sasuke coming so that he could take over his body eventually. He probably customized his Susanoo specifically to save his brother from Orochimaru.
Heat. Fucking fire. Oh.
Yeah, his Susanoo is literally made out of fire too. It's red.
But imagine that. You knew Orochimaru was obsessed with the Uchihas. You knew that the only other Uchiha in this world was your little brother, because you killed them all. So, taking all that into accountability, you went and got the Totsuka blade, had it attached to your Susanoo, knowing that Orochimaru was looking for it, because he literally said if he had the Totsuka blade, he wouldn't need to do anything that he was doing if he had it. And you had it. And it's so crazy because at that point, Orochimaru was already dead, but he was still living in Sasuke, quote unquote.
Well, remember, his body's dead, but his soul's not.
Yeah. And, bro, just to come back out and see, you got the treasure I've been looking for this whole time. And just using it, it just further, makes me like Itachi, love Itachi, because he just really saved Sasuke. It was, wow.
Yeah, he spent his entire life preparing to sacrifice himself to make sure Sasuke can be the best that Sasuke can be. If to fast forward a little bit, in Kushina's flashback, where they're explaining, if you remember, the one that watches Sasuke during the Nine Tails attack is Itachi.
Yeah.
The one that's making sure Sasuke's okay. Because it shows him, he's sitting there, he's got Sasuke's in his arm, and they're just sitting outside, and he goes, what was that? And he's like, there's a cold in the air, and then boom, it attacks, and you see Itachi's 12 at this point, because he's in the Anbu Black Ops. Because didn't he join at 12?
Somewhere around there. 12, or it was really early.
Yeah, because what's it called? Kakashi joined at, I believe, 14, and he joined the Anbu even younger than Itachi. Or not Itachi. Kakashi joined at 14, and Itachi was so good that they
11.
let him 11. So he's 11 holding baby Sasuke, and you see like that he's on par with an early. What's it called? Kakashi was like what? I think like 17 or 18 at that point.
Wait, for
Kakashi.
he was like at the time of
Yeah.
the
How old
Naruto's
is
attack?
Kakashi during Shippuden?
Shoot, I can tell you that.
He's like 32, right?
Somewhere around there.
Or he might be 32 at the start of Naruto.
31.
He's 31 during Shippuden.
Oh no, during the Fourth War.
So yeah, so 16 years before. So that's he's 15.
29. It says at the beginning of Shippuden how old he is.
Okay, so
Does it?
so if that means he's 15 when the fox attacks. So that would make Itachi 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as an 11-year-old, Itachi has already planned explicitly. He trained that hard just to protect his little brother. Well, originally it wasn't to protect his little brother. It was to keep his best friend safe. But then his little brother was born. So he started with his little brother.
Yeah.
Like, Itachi sacrificed everything for his little brother.
Everything.
Like,
Yeah.
and you see, as their fight progresses, you can tell like he doesn't want to hurt Sasuke. He's just doing just enough
to keep him away. That explains why in the beginning of the fight he was using a lot of genjutsu. Like
he
a lot.
still uses like the entire fight.
Yeah.
Like when the Kirin happens, he's just like, you thought that would work?
He was
Like
he was impressed though. He was impressed.
Well, it's not so much the amount of power; it's how smart it was.
Yeah, because he didn't use chakra for that. Like,
or well, he had to use chakra to like direct
to set it up, and to direct it.
But he was able to use the lightning from the storm cloud to amplify his actual.
And I feel like now I'm thinking about it. I feel like, could you see if Itachi wasn't like impressed with what Sasuke was fighting with? I don't think his outcome would have changed or him trying to do something different, but it adds a different layer when I think about how impressed he was when he saw that Kirin versus like, because he did fight differently after that Kirin came out, and it was like he got more to the climax of the fight, like using the Susanoo, having him fight against the Susanoo, and then inevitably, dying. But I think.
But the thing is, like Itachi's already on death's door.
Yeah.
Like this entire fight, like it doesn't matter what happens, Itachi's already like.
Yeah, that's why I say his outcome wouldn't have changed, but that look of peace at the end when he smiled at him.
He just did what he sacrificed everything for. He just saved his little brother's soul. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
So he just successfully saved his little brother's soul from the devil, from a devil.
Yeah. And with the way that Uchiha set up, even if it didn't, like, even if he wasn't impressed with the way his fight saving the souls, like, I know you'll get better. Like, even if for some chance he felt like he wasn't where he needed to be then, to him saving his soul, like, you'll get there eventually.
And then it gets even so much more tragic, because not only does he save his soul, he gives him the power of his eyes. He tells him goodbye in a way that was how he told him goodbye when he was growing up. The tap on the forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Like the... I
but
can't.
Also, yeah, like no, you did it.
Yet I can't play like every time he like had to go to like train or a mission or something.
Yeah, but it was always
so he tapped Sasuke. And
but you remember, he never told him goodbye. He always said some other time or maybe later.
Yeah, that
makes it even more intense because he hit his forehead like maybe later, like
or not just maybe, but it's like how he does it is it's like. He gives him his eyes, taps him on the forehead, and it's not even like it's more like when you see me again, because he gives him his eyes. Yeah. So you can see it as he's telling his brother, for when you see me again. That way you can see yourself through my eyes as someone worth saving.
And even then, imagine it like giving him his vision, so now he sees things start to, because remember, he doesn't really start to in the beginning, but it's set up for him to eventually see the way he sees.
Yeah. So it's like, because Sasuke, like when you see Sasuke learn the truth, he's like, what makes me so worth it? Like, why'd he do it for me? I wasn't worth the entire clan. But to Itachi, you were everything. So Itachi giving you his eyes, so you can see through his, so you can see yourself how Itachi sees you. You could see it as that's what that means when he taps him on the forehead, is that so you can have my eyes to see why you're so important.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the tap, like, for when I see you again, taps him, but so he gets his eyes. And then, so he's not just saying, I'll see you again, but it's more like he's saying, when we meet again, I hope you understand your worth.
I like that. That's because, well, of course we're not there yet, but of course we will end up talking about their final meeting, but not there yet. But chills, man. I never thought about it like that. Like, giving him his vision, because his mind didn't even start to change until that point. Like, he had the same objective that entire show up until the point Itachi died. And he gave him his vision, which he didn't know what to do with it at first. So right after that, when Obito comes in and he starts telling him basically the truth and stuff, Itachi planned so far ahead to the point where he even put a safeguard when he saw Obito.
Yeah. Give him his... Also, what's really cool, so in Japanese mythology, the main god goes into the underworld. Izanagi goes into the underworld to try to save his wife, finds out that she's become like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
He runs away, and as he's trying to leave the underworld, there's a stream. And he has part of the underworld in his eyes. Mm-hmm. So he washes his eyes, and from washing his eyes, Amaterasu and Susanoo is born from each eye. And that's why you don't get a Susanoo and Amaterasu come from your Mangekyo Ghost Sharingan, or from Itachi's Mangekyo Ghost Sharingan, that he gets Amaterasu out of his eyes, is because the head god in Shinto mythology gives birth from cleaning his eyes. So if you think about it, when he gives Sasuke his sight, he's cleaning his eye to make it, to give birth to his Susanoo. And giving him his eyes, so he has his Amaterasu. So he's cleaning his eyes, so he no longer... Itachi's cleaning Sasuke's eyes, so Sasuke can see himself as someone worth saving.
That is nice. That is nice. See, I got to choke up on my Japanese Shinto mythology because I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a good metaphor for that. It puts a very deep, like, basis for everything. Wow.
Yeah, I believe Amaterasu is the right eye and Susanoo's the left, but I can't remember.
I remember they saying you needed both eyes to do Susanoo, and the only person who could do it out of one was Shisui. I'm watching too much One Piece. Shisui could do it out of one eye. I know, I remember that.
But that
But
also,
you can't do full Susanoo unless you have the Eternal. So unless you do implant in Uchiha's eye, so it still works.
Yeah, and then if you go on into the like talking about Shinto, so in Shinto mythology, Susanoo is kind of like Hercules, where like it's the main centralized figure, and Amaterasu is like, she's more special, which makes it even better that it's Itachi's thing and that he passes it on. So basically, what happens in Shinto is one of the gods tricks Susanoo, since Susanoo's so strong, tricks Susanoo into pissing off his dad into getting kicked out of heaven. And he has to slowly make his way back with his best friend, who's the moon god, has to slowly go through a bunch of trials, tribulations. He has to slay Orochi, which he does. He as Yamato, like we talked about it last week, how Yamato is the human name given to Susanoo after he falls from heaven. And so Susanoo slays Orochi just like the first Susanoo we see in the show. Well, technically it's the second Susanoo we see in the show, but we didn't know the first one was called Susanoo. His Susanoo slays Orochi, like the part of the demon that's inside Sasuke, because it's hilarious how he beats Orochi, since he doesn't have his godlike powers, is he tricks it into getting drunk off sake. And you could see that as he kills Orochimaru by getting Orochimaru drunk off the thought of having the Uchiha clan's power.
Yeah, because in that fight, he came back out in like a frenzy. He felt like he really won.
So what happens is, in the legend, like in the lore, or not the lore, but the Shinto mythology, is he tricks Orochi into getting drunk off sake and then traps each head in something. Just like Itachi tricks Orochimaru into going after Sasuke so that Sasuke can trap him, get drunk off the idea of power he would have with the Sharingan, and then delivers him to his death at Susanoo's hand, like Itachi Susanoo's hand. And then he proceeds to, in the Shinto myth, Susanoo cuts off the heads with the sword.
That's nice.
So that's pretty much what Itachi does. He does almost the same thing to Orochimaru to protect his little brother. And then he passes off his powers, or the powers he can pass off to his little brother.
No, that runs deep. I ain't never would have thought Kishimoto would have put this much mythology, but it probably wasn't intentional. Probably. I would hope it was. But.
Well, like the metaphors, probably not intentional, but the things that he put in are intentional. That's what gives a metaphor power when it's on accident. Like when it just matches up. Because if you do it on purpose, then it's not an archetype. Because like you can purposely connect dots, but then you're not telling the story that you're telling the story you want to hear, not the story you need to hear. Like you're telling, like if you do it on purpose, you're writing the story you want to write. But if you let it happen as you're writing, you write the story you need to write.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense actually, because when it comes up accidental, you kind of get the knowledge in a different base than you would if he initially put it. He
purposely wrote those things, but something tells me he didn't know that they could line up that way. And the fact that it just works out that way just proves that these concepts transcend, like, the human experience. Like, we understand these concepts regardless of culture, religion, anything like that. Like, it transcends the human experience. Like, these things you don't just think about. Like, part of you connects on an almost spiritual level to what's going on, and that's what makes it so cool. And that's why I think Naruto is so popular, because like the story, like, it has some faults. It's not perfect, but it makes you feel like when you go through it, it makes you feel connected to something past yourself. If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
And then, so he finally beats Itachi. And he meets Obito. And we find out that Itachi planned on Sasuke and Obito meeting. And that was why he gave him his eyes, was to kill Obito before Obito could tell him the truth. Because he didn't want Sasuke to hate the Leaf Village.
Precisely. He never wanted Sasuke to develop a hatred for the Leaf that he had been spending his whole life trying to extinguish.
Also, the other thing is he doesn't want Sasuke to keep hating after he dies. Because, like, the object of his hatred is dad. He hopes that Sasuke's hatred can die, too. That way he only has to be mad at one thing. He only has to hate one thing. And when he gets rid of that one thing, his hate can die. But he underestimated Sasuke's ability not to be a little bastard. Because Sasuke is still fucking pissed. And then he learns that Itachi sacrificed everything to save his life because it turns out Sasuke's dad was a piece of shit.
Yeah, like the whole time he had been thinking his dad and them were in the right, but turns out his dad
It turns out everything he thought he knew about the world was wrong.
Everything.
So he finds out that he's too weak because, like, he finds out the past version of himself was so weak that he believed all these lies. Like, his dad was planning on, doing mass murder because he felt disrespected that he didn't become Hokage.
Yeah, for that whole petty reason.
Yeah, even that, like, his dad was a great warrior, but Minato's like 90% of the reason they won the war. So that's why Minato becomes
Hokage.
Because he's the greatest ninja since Hashirama. But Sasuke's dad feels spurned by the people.
Like overlooked.
Yeah. And then it makes it even funnier when you find out Kushina and Sasuke's mom are best friends.
Yeah.
Like, they're legit
Kushina
best
and
friends.
Sasuke's mom were literally like best friends. You see that when we first meet Kushina, don't it?
Yeah, she explains because how they are able to imply that they're really good friends is she knew Sasuke's mom was pregnant, and back then they wouldn't have known unless you went it way out of your way if it was a boy or girl. And then they ask, like, she's able to ask personal questions, like, what's his name? Sasuke. And then she goes, oh, you named him after the third Hokage's father? That's awesome. And then she says something else. And then Kushina whispers in her ear and says, does it really hurt that bad? And then Sasuke's mom says, I never thought I'd ever see something that scares you, Kushina.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that implies, like, if she knows Kushina that close. Well, and then you see when they're under Madara's genjutsu at the end, that they're best friends. Or, well, we don't know if they're best friends, but they're good friends. Like when we see them interact during the Infinite Tsukiyomi.
Yeah, that flashback when they pulled up Minato again and what Naruto would be like if he was actually, like, had both of his parents and stuff.
Yeah, and we find out that he's a spoiled brat.
Yep.
And he still becomes, like, a great ninja and everything.
Yeah.
But he starts off like Boruto. But it turns out, like, the question is it having both parents that made him a brat? Or was it not having Iruka Sensei in his corner?
I would go with the former. I'd say both parents, but I definitely see the Iruka argument.
The thing is, though, I don't think it's both parents made him a spoiled brat, because Kushina is not the type to spoil her kid.
Right, I definitely see that.
Like, you know what I mean? And Minato 100% would spoil his kid. Let's be real. Minato is the type of dad that would spoil his kid. But Kushina seems like the kind that would beat up her husband if she found out that he was spoiling her kid. You know what I mean? Like she's the red hot habanero for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to the Obito Sasuke conversation. Obito explains the truth to Sasuke, and it causes Sasuke to become radicalized and want to destroy the Leaf Village because Obito doesn't explain the full extent of what's gonna happen.
Classic. Keep certain.
I guess we
hidden.
should say Madara because he's still pretending to be Madara.
At that point, yeah.
Because Madara hasn't been fully reincarnated yet, he's still too weak. Because Pain's supposed to use his what's it called?
Rene Rebirth. Well, not.
Gato Rene Rebirth.
Yeah, that was the original idea.
Yeah. Instead of how they get him out.
Yeah. Because the original idea was for Nagato to use Rene Rebirth to bring Madara back, but end up getting killed by Naruto, which was
he didn't get killed. Remember, he purposely gives up his life to save everyone because
we know that, but at that point, that's what probably Madara or the other Akatsuki would have said.
No, if I remember correctly, Madara knows that he willingly had to use the jutsu because they wouldn't be able to force Nagato to use the jutsu. And then while Obito's explaining to it, he leaves out that Sasuke's dad was going to kill like half the Leaf Village just because he felt spurned.
Yeah, that whole coup, he was going to have to Uchiha ravage the village.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't become Hokage. My question was why he waited so long.
He probably waited so long to give them a false sense of security.
That makes sense.
And then the reason the Leaf Village took so long is probably because Hiruzen was very meticulous with stuff because he was in charge at the time that it happened. Danzo probably wanted to do it as soon as they found out it might happen, but Hiruzen probably wanted to be exactly sure just because that's who he is.
Yeah.
They don't say it implicitly, but
they implied a lot.
My headcanon, because it's technically headcanon, is that Hiruzen refused to do it on a whim, so he needed irrefutable proof. And once he had irrefutable proof, he probably didn't want to kill all of them, but Danzo's thing was like, well then we'll just have Itachi do it. But then you find out like a big part of why Danzo wants to do it is to take eyes.
That's all he wants.
Remember, he takes a couple of dead people's eyes.
Yeah, all he wants is stab.
Because what's it called?
Cool.
Doesn't he specifically just take people's eyes that have unlocked the Mangekyou?
Nah, he just wants Sharingan because you don't need the Mangekyou to do the Izanagi.
I thought you. Or no. It's to use the what's it called? You have to have Mangekyou, the counter jutsu.
Talking about Izanami?
Yeah.
But I don't think Danzo knew about that.
He might not have. But I'm saying, like, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because, well, you might not need Mangekyou to use Izanami, but every time we've seen Izanami used, someone had the Mangekyou active. So, we don't know. I think we don't know. But I think it's, like, heavily implied that to use Izanami, you have to have Mangekyou. So he explains to Sasuke what happened, and he leaves out the part that his dad wanted to kill half the village and convinces him that it's all because Danzo wanted his family's eyes. Which is funny because if that's what it was, if it was just Danzo's wanted the family's eyes, he left out the two strongest people's eyes. So you can kind of see that that's not why it happened. Because if he wanted the two strongest people's eyes, he would have got Sushui's eyes and he would have got Itachi's.
Well, he tried to get Shusui.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying, he didn't get Itachi's though. He would like if he was specifically after the strongest eyes, like Obito implies to Sasuke, that's the whole reason that it happened. Was out of jealousy and Danzo wanted power from the Uchiha. He wouldn't have let Itachi be the one to do it. He would have had something else do it, and then taken Itachi's eyes.
Yeah, but I think the only thing I can think of, because I know he tried with Shusui, that was end up how Shusui dying, because he decided, I don't want to let Danzo get my eyes, you take it.
Yeah.
So, and then...
But that also makes Itachi have the strongest eyes until Sasuke gets his.
And, shortly after that was the massacre of Uchiha.
Yeah. Well, actually, Obito has the strongest eyes, but no one knows he has the strongest eyes.
Yeah, at that point.
Because Kamui is the strongest Mangekyo power. Like, it's not even close.
Well, Kodo Masukami. That's Shusui's Genjutsu. Kodo Masukami.
Kamui is better, though, because you can just trap someone in the dimension and leave them there and let them starve.
But Kodo Masukami makes any Genjutsu you do become real. So if you wanted to say, hey, this guy's on fire, he's actually on fire, not in his head. That's why Kodo Masukami was so strong.
Like, I get that it's strong, but I'm saying, like, if, like, we had to say...
Like, battle-wise? Yeah. I would give it to you. Like, strictly battle,
like, don't get me wrong.
Kamui,
like, the Susui's is good, but, like, in a vacuum, I think Kamui's stronger. Because you can't just look at it and, like, what it is. Because you got to remember, he can teleport using it.
He has a pocket dimension.
You can kill anyone that's ever existed by trapping them in there because there's no food or water in it.
You can't get out.
And like, sure, everyone in Naruto is superhuman, but they still need water and they still need food.
Yeah. The versatility of Kamui. Yeah. It does too much.
It does like Shui like traps you in a genjutsu, but you Kamui him back into the dimension, so it doesn't matter. Like. At worst, you draw.
At worst.
Because you can use Kamui when under Genjutsu.
Yeah, Sharingan.
Also, you can use Kamui when you're half dead.
Yeah.
Like, remember when Minato defeats Obito and his body's just falling apart, like, into puddles? Because he hits him with the massive Rasengan. And then stabs him in the stomach, and his arm falls off, his leg's starting to go, and you see him, and so he's half dead because the white Zetsu part of him is completely destroyed, and he's still able to come away. Or when he gets stabbed with the fucking what's it called, and he can still use Kamui. The what is the staff called? When Madara stabs him he can still use Kamui, even though he theoretically should.
Oh, you talking about that Sage staff, not Nunaboku. That's a sword. I'm tripping.
Yeah, you know the staff that looks like a DNA helix?
No, that's sword in Nunaboku.
Oh, yeah, then I'm thinking of the sword, yeah. But it's supposed to make it where you can't do shit like that, but he's still able to use Kamui.
Yeah.
So I think that by itself makes Kamui better.
Because the only thing Shusui would have for him is if he catches him, he's gone. But can you catch him? Like, if you catch him with a Genjutsu once, it's over. Yeah. But can you catch him?
But also, he could theoretically, like we know if they fight, Obito wins every time. Just because Obito is so broken by the time he's an adult, and Shusui never got to adulthood.
Facts.
And when they were the same age, Obito wasn't that strong because he didn't even have his Sharingan yet. He got his Sharingan from wanting to save Ren. Also, have you thought about the fact that the people that's eyes awaken for good emotions is much more powerful than the people's that Sharingan awakens from negative emotions?
You've only seen one?
Well, what's it called? You could argue Sasuke's is not from negative emotions. His is from positive emotions.
Still from grief?
It's the joy of completing his life's mission. You could argue that's what activated it.
Talking about for Sasuke?
Yeah. Because he gets it from beating Itachi.
Yeah, but it wasn't until he found out that Sasuke was for him the whole time that he realized he just killed someone that was for him. Like, the whole thing he was chasing for Naruto, what if I kill my best friend? It's going to bring me to grief so I can get the Mangekyo Sharingan. Well, he hated Itachi for so long. Obito tells him now, oh shit, like I just killed my brother. Because the only example that we've seen where someone gets it from good is Sarada, which is Sasuke's daughter. The only time she unlocked her Mangekyo Sharingan was she was upset of how Boruto was being done. The whole world was against him. She cries to Sasuke, please save Boruto, unlocks Mangekyo Sharingan. So that's strictly good intention. Like, nothing had happened, nobody had died. Boruto was just on the verge of about to being killed. So she unlocks Mangekyo Sharingan in her plea hope that Boruto is saved.
True.
So the way in Sasuke's case, I would be like, damn, you hated this dude this whole time, but he was actually for you, actually loved you, and you just found it out after you just
loved you more than anyone else did.
Yeah, like you were number one in his life, probably above God, probably.
No, or if you want to be an evolutionary psychologist about it, you were Itachi's god.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the better way to look at it.
I definitely see that. Like, over that.
Because Sasuke is the ultimate deciding principle in Itachi's life. It's not power or anything like that with every other shinobi. It's Sasuke's what's it called? It's Sasuke's well-being that matters the most. Like,
over everything, even the village, even the clan.
Yeah. Like, everything is Sasuke matters the most. Like, if Sasuke's okay, that's all that matters. And so Obito convinces Sasuke to become radicalized so he can use him as like a terrorist against the Leaf Village. That way they'll go after everybody. And then,
because he does join the Akatsuki pretty much right after that.
Yeah, it's the entire thing is like Obito's preamble to inviting him to join the Akatsuki.
Yeah, which signify, like we talked about it earlier, which signifies his descent into darkness even more.
Yeah, he's fallen low enough to where he joined a bunch of lowlives to exact revenge for the death of his brother.
Because now it's like...
But also his brother doesn't want revenge.
No.
Because his brother thinks the village was justified. Because, if you remember, Sasuke was supposed to die because they didn't know if Sasuke was a part of the plan or anything. So Itachi goes out of his way to make sure Sasuke lives because he understands that the rest of the clan turned out to be pieces of shit. Like, he learns, like, my dad's a massive fuckhead. So, I love my dad, but I love the people in my village more. Like, I can't, like, killing my family to save everybody else. And if you think about it, to save the soul of my little brother so he doesn't fall to the darkness my dad did is worth it. Is basically where Itachi goes with it.
Yeah. That makes sense because he did all that to protect the village itself, and seeing even his own dad, he would go against his own dad to save the village and the people in it. Like,
and then you learn that his dad thinks Itachi's in the right.
Yeah, when they give us that second part, when
we learn the real truth.
Yeah, when he went back and he's about to kill his dad and his mom, and his dad pretty much just tells him, like, we understand why you did this, just protect
and
Sasuke.
I think he even tells him he's proud of him.
Yeah, he does. Tells him he's proud of the ninja he's become.
Yeah, because Itachi's become such a good man. And we get the single saddest moment in Naruto in Itachi's light novel, where the girl that Itachi's in love with, since he has to kill her, he creates a genjutsu where he and her get to live out their entire life. It's like 50 years together? Mm-hmm. And he gets to see Sasuke grow up and everything. And then she's like, "Thank you. That's all I've ever wanted." And then he has to kill it. Like, bro.
That's a heart-wrenching moment there. Like, imagine, like, literally, the love of his life, he made sure she even got what she wanted out of the whole
Yeah,
thing.
he did. Like, there's no other way she could achieve it, so he had to give it to her in the only way he knew how.
Put her in the Tsukiyama. Give it to her. I'm talking about, like, start to finish, gave her their whole life together to where at the end of it, she thanks him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
what?
Jesus.
Doesn't he become, like, Hokage or whatever in the vision?
I couldn't tell you for sure.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I read that shit in, like, high school.
Tachi was that guy.
He was him. Himothy. Itachi is Himothy.
Himminson.
All right, hold on. Let's put some respect. It's Itachi Himothy Uchiha. That's his full name.
I take it.
Itachi Himothy.
But nah, like, Itachi hearing all that news. I mean, not Itachi. Sasuke hearing the news basically of Itachi and how he lived and how he felt about him only pushed him to want to destroy the same thing that Itachi risked his life to protect, which further pushes him into the darkness.
He was risking his life to protect the village and him. He thought it was
just the village,
not just him. Remember, Obito, like, obscures the fact that Itachi cares about the village.
Yeah.
Because once he learns that Itachi did it for him and his people, not just for him, because Obito frames it as the only thing that made them not kill Sasuke was that Itachi did it, sort of thing. But that's not what it was. It was Itachi, like, offers to do it if he can save his little brother, sort of thing. Not just Itachi was forced to do it because Danzo's a piece of shit. Like, that's what Obito implies, is that it all happened because Danzo's a power-hungry piece of shit. And so he convinces Sasuke to join up, and joining up is the continued fall of Sasuke, because he goes from just being a lost kid, basically, because he's only 16, because he's only a few weeks older than Naruto. Like, I don't think he's even a month older than Naruto, because on Naruto's birthday, he's still an infant.
Yeah.
So we could probably Google his birthday, because Naruto's birthday is October 10th.
Whose birthday?
Sasuke. I know Naruto's is October 10th. Like,
July 23rd.
Okay, so he's 3 months older than Naruto. Sasuke was a little fucking baby. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
Like, really little.
Well, also, isn't he shorter than Naruto now, grown up? Now that they're grown up?
No.
Or is it just that Naruto's hair makes him look taller than everybody? Because isn't he only like 160 centimeters tall?
He's an inch taller than Naruto.
Must be the hair that makes Naruto look taller.
Yeah, it says Sasuke's 5'11" and a half.
How many centimeters is that? That's like 160.
182.
Oh, that's 182. Oh, shit.
182, Naruto's 177.
It's funny because, you know, Lemillion in My Hero, the reason he looks so tall is because he's 6'1".
Really?
Yeah. So he's just like ridiculously tall for someone in Japan. So that's why he towers over everybody. So if I just find that's one of my favorite little bits of info. And then Sasuke joins up, becomes a terrorist.
Yeah.
And then attacks Killer Bee. Well, actually, we're skipping a very important part with the Killer Bee thing, so keep that in the back of your heads. What happens right after Obito's explanation is we go into Naruto learning Toad Senju, which is Toad Sage Mode.
Nature energy.
Yo, so it's kind of funny that a hyperactive knucklehead has to learn how to be still. It feels kind of ironic in a way, you know what I mean? Like, he's ran around like the whole time that he doesn't know how to sit still.
Real hyperactive kid.
Well, remember his nickname when he was a kid is the Leafs Village #1 Knucklehead Ninja.
Yep.
I fucking love that nickname, by the way. That's such a good nickname. But he learns how to, what's the correct word? Harness nature energy. But he's real clever. Like everyone else, like his system works better than everyone else who ever learned Sage style.
Yep.
Because his chakra reserves, he got his mother's chakra reserves. Like the ability to just have a fuck ton of chakra. So he's able to constantly have a shadow clone at Mount, what's the name of the mountain? Mubioku. I always say that shit wrong.
Mubioku. I think it's Miyoboku.
It's something Boku. I just can't remember the first part ever. So he uses his own knuckleheaded way of learning, which is just brute force his way, and then just permanently leaves friggin' what's it called up there, so that he never runs out of friggin' chakra.
Yeah. He always kept the shadow clones like charging his nature energy literally as a reserve. So when he used one, it's like
he can deactivate one. That way he automatically gets all their nature when the chakra comes back. And then he goes off and fights pain. Well, first he learns it, and then we don't know if he masters it. It's just like, did he master it?
Yeah, because it's in the middle of training when Pain attacks the village.
And he's just like, oh no, I gotta leave. And Grandpa is just like, no, we can't let you leave yet. And then it like cuts to Pain just beating the shit out of everyone in the village. It looks like Kakashi could do something, and then Kakashi gets like one of the most creative kills possible. Like, he gets a nail almighty pushed into his fucking face. Like, damn.
Straight there, boy. Like, hammer time.
Like, instant kill. And then, so, Pain starts giving the village the fucking work. He goes to the center of the village, activates Almighty Push, basically destroys the entire village. And some people try to fight Pain. Nothing happens. Nobody can get anything done. Naruto shows up, full Sage mode, decked out. He's got a giant scroll on his back, the summoning scroll on his back, which never ends up mattering. The jacket gets lost in like 30 seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, he wears it for like 30 seconds worth of time. Like, it's like 3 episodes in real time, but in actual fight time, it's only like 30 seconds. And then he goes from not being able to really do anything to nature energy lets him absolutely body the Pains. Like, the Pains can't do anything. But then he learns that it doesn't matter what he does, because one of the bodies can infinitely regenerate the other bodies. And so he slowly starts losing because he runs out of nature energy. And Pain takes this time to fuck with him, basically. He stabs him through his hands, almost like a crucifixion-esque thing. He does the same to Hinata, and then he makes the mistake of stabbing Hinata.
Thinking that it wasn't going to do nothing to Naruto.
Well, it was supposed to like cause him pain, but he didn't expect Naruto to absolutely fucking lose it.
Yeah.
So Naruto goes straight from like Naruto to what's he get? He like instantly goes four tails, I think it is. Like, there's not even like the full cloak like last time where he slowly ramps up. It's just he just goes whoop, and then it's on, and he starts beating the shit out of Pain, and then Pain gets the upper hand, and then he goes 5 tails, and then proceeds to keep beating the shit out of Pain, and he keeps just getting madder and madder and madder, to where more and more tails pop up, and then Naruto sees a weird blonde man in his mind, and that's Minato. So earlier when we talked about Yamato being a metaphor for the archetype of the father, this is that, but even greater, because this is a projection of the soul of Naruto's actual father.
Mm-hmm.
But Naruto has no clue that his dad was a big deal. It turns out that his dad is one of the greatest ninja ever. Like, his dad has achieved everything Naruto ever wants to achieve, and he had no idea, because he had no idea who his dad was. So the visitation from the archetype of the father saves Naruto from completely losing himself. So instead, like, he's going to lose himself to the fox. He doesn't just lose himself to a fox, but his contact with the reincarnation of the father. So his contact with the archetype of the father doesn't just have him, like, it doesn't just save him from his shadow. It completely revigorates his goals.
Yeah. It basically was the same thing that Itachi's thing did for Sasuke in meeting Minato. All of Naruto's goals like got turned up. Like,
well, it's not just all. It's his father, who he never got to meet, tells him he's proud of the man he's become. So you could see that as the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious is telling Naruto that they are proud of who he became. So, like, all the father figures throughout history, like all the great fathers throughout history, you could see it as a metaphor for them saying, good job, son, you're on the right path. And that's, like, the strongest thing you can hear as a 16-year-old is hearing from basically a metaphor for God telling you that he's proud of you, keep going. You can do it. I have faith in you.
Because literally Naruto went that, before that moment, he didn't know who his parents were.
Yeah.
And he had just been doing everything just with his own personal drive. Like, I want to do this because this is what I want to do, just to meet his father and just tell him, say, I'm proud of you. You're doing the right thing. Keep going.
It's not just I'm proud of you, but you're a better man than I thought was possible. Yeah. And he doesn't just say, like, I'm proud of you. He says, thank you for letting me be your father.
Yep.
Like, is like, if something similar was to happen, it'd be like having a religious experience and God coming to us and saying, not only am I proud of you, not only are you a better person than I ever could have imagined, but thank you for believing in me so that I could have you exist. That's the equivalent of what's happening here.
Yeah, higher than just I'm proud of you. It's no, thank you for giving me this role. You're doing so well. Thank you for giving me this role.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I made you my son.
Yeah, like, thank you for blessing me with the ability to brought you forward. Thank you for being so great that it gives me meaning. Because you've surpassed me is basically what it like. It's like if God came to you in a vision and said, you've done so well that you make the idea that everyone that believes in me better by being who you are. That's basically what the vision of Minato is a metaphor for. And it's the complete opposite of what Sasuke gets.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because, like, you can tell Itachi's proud of Sasuke for getting stronger, but there's no thank you for justifying my existence. Like, Naruto justifies the existence of God. Sasuke does the opposite.
Yeah.
He justifies the existence of evil.
Yeah, and when you look at it, because now I'm thinking about it, just how you said Naruto's father thanked him for being his son. I feel like if you took it and you just flipped it, it was like Itachi telling, like, not directly, of course, but it was like, instead of Naruto fulfilling, Minato's, wish for having a son, fulfilling that role, it was Itachi, like, telling Sasuke, not directly, but, thank you for being my little brother. Thank you for giving me something to believe in.
Well, he doesn't know that that's what's happening.
Yeah, of course.
So in his mind, it's more like Sasuke is getting so Sasuke doesn't really get a metaphor. He just gets to feel like he was used by Itachi to kill Orochimaru. Like, instead of, like, Minato tells Naruto that you have given my existence meaning, Itachi's actions told Sasuke, I gave your intentions meaning.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Which is not what Sasuke needed to hear.
No.
He basically, like, Sasuke sees it as he was used as a tool by his brother and the village. And then when Obito talks to him, he finds out that he was used by a pawn for the village, which breaks him mentally. Like, that's why he gets so mad and angry, is that he finds out that
Itachi was a pawn.
Well, not just Itachi was a pawn, but he was a pawn too.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what Naruto finds out.
He wasn't a pawn, he was the king.
Well, I wouldn't say that he was a king, but he justified the sacrifice of his parents, but Sasuke didn't justify the sacrifice of his brother.
Okay.
That's basically, like, Naruto becoming a great human justified the sacrifice of his family. Sasuke becoming a piece of crap because, like, Sasuke has become a garbage human. Like,
at this point,
unfortunately, like, we have to call him a garbage human because he's just willing to commit wanton murder for what he needs. Like, he becomes, like, he's literally sacrificing someone constantly. Like, he was willing to become a garbage human to kill his brother. So, like, Sasuke's not a good guy, but Naruto being a good guy justifies the sacrifice of everyone that sacrificed for him, while Sasuke being a bad guy justifies him being sacrificed for other people.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So they're like the exact inverse of each other.
Yep.
Which you could see as Naruto is favored by God, not necessarily like the Christian God, but a God, like a metaphor for him being blessed by God, gives him and everyone that have sacrificed themselves for him meaning. And since Sasuke was spurred by God, he gives no meaning to anybody. Which leads back into the Cain and Abel thing, where Cain isn't willing to sacrifice what he needs to. Abel is, so Abel's blessed by God and Cain's not. And it justifies Cain's hatred for Abel. And Cain hates Abel because God loves Abel more.
Full circle. I get it.
Yeah, and then we go from Naruto meeting his father Minato to him fighting the last pain. And he beats the last pain with a Rasengan. And not a wind-style Rasengan. I think it's very cool that he uses a regular Rasengan to win, because he just had the vision of his father, and he uses his father's jutsu, his father's incomplete work, because Minato didn't complete Rasengan because he never imbued it with chakra. He uses that to beat pain. And so he's able to beat pain with the remnants of his father. So he's able to overcome pain with the help of God, is how you could see it as a metaphor. Since meeting Minato is a metaphor for the archetype of the father there, it's Naruto's Rasengan against the last pain is him using the power of a higher being of the archetype of the father to overcome pain as a concept, not just the character pain.
Because the character pain does a good job of putting the actual concept of pain with how he approaches things. Like, of course, the world is pain. You see pain, you shall know pain. So using his father's incomplete work, literally with him, it's God with you to help you overcome your pains.
Or not just like God, because don't want it to be twisted with Christianity, just a transcendent ideal. With the help of a transcendent ideal, you can overcome pain or suffering. Would be like the best way to look at it. And then from there, while Pain's body sitting on the ground, he doesn't like desiccate the body or anything. He removes the rods from it as almost like a burial rite. Like you would take like the things that are like you would take the things keeping a body going, like a needle and all the stuff when the body dies. So he's like preparing the pain to be laid to rest.
Yeah.
And then he takes the thing that's controlling the pain and stabs himself in the hand so he can feel somebody else's pain. And so it's like you could see it as a metaphor for taking somebody else's pain onto himself to find the person having the pain. You know what I mean? Like, taking the pain onto himself gives him the ability to find the person experiencing that pain. And then he's able to find that person, and that person's Nagato. And it turns out him and Nagato have a ton in common. And you can't forget Nagato basically is just a walking platform of Christian symbols, which is really funny because behind him is a T shape, but he's hunched over with all the spikes in his back.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes his silhouette a cross.
Yeah.
Which is, there's no way Kishimoto did that on accident.
I believe it.
Because, like, Christianity's not the dominant religion there, but anime likes Christian symbols. Like, just like at Evangelion and stuff like that. Like,
Evangelican?
Yeah. They like that symbology in Japan. So we learn the backstory. We learn that Nagato is Naruto's
predecessor.
Not predecessor. Nah, they call each other disciple siblings.
Oh, there's another word for it.
The Japanese is just sibling disciples is what they call each other in Japanese. I don't know the actual word for it.
Yeah, there's a word. It's going to hit me later.
And then Nagato says, for me to stop, you got to convince me that you know how to have peace. And Naruto's just like, let me hear your backstory so I can come up with an answer. And so we learn that Nagato's backstory, I don't know if it's more tragic or less tragic than Naruto's, because there's a lot more betrayal in Nagato's. But Naruto's life was arguably worse. One of those things.
Naruto's life started bad. Like day zero on Earth, and you already done lost both your parents.
Well, not just that. Like you grew up being spurned by everyone except for like 3 people, because it was Ichiraka.
You talking about Iruka, the
ramen
old
shop.
man, yeah. Ichiraku. But I don't think was that his name.
That's the name of the ramen
Yeah,
shop.
but I know you're talking about.
And Shikamaru. Because Hiruzen didn't really do much with him. He just gave him money. Because remember, at like the age of 7, he like lived in his own house. Like we don't even know who raised him. Like, so since he could be by himself, he was by himself, and no one would be except for Shikamaru. Shikamaru was like the only person that was ever like, okay, we're friends. But at first, he didn't want to be friends with him either. It was just the fact that Naruto had this air about him that made you want to go where he went, that made them become friends. And then Iruka, it's not so much that he's still resentful of the Nine-Tailed Fox, but he lost both his parents to the Nine-Tailed Fox, so he understands how Naruto feels losing both his parents. And then Ichiraka Ramen guy, we don't really know why I think it's just that he didn't like seeing a kid suffer.
Yeah.
We don't know much outside of that.
I mean, you know about the Ichiraku guy. It was shown in the show. I don't know about the manga, but the show definitely a few times, he wasn't big on the business. Like, he'd give out free food. Naruto was one of the people that always got free food from him. And
until Naruto could afford to pay.
Yeah. And when he could afford to pay, you bet.
Yeah,
that man
paid.
Way too much. That boy paid. Talking about bringing you there.
Remember the first time Yamato offered to buy him Ichiraka Ramen, and he gave Yamato like a $300 bill.
Yeah.
Like that. But we learned Nagato upbringing. He watched 2 Leaf Village ninjas that were starving. Because they say it's been 3 days since the last time they ate. They're trapped in a war zone. They think they're being attacked by the enemy, and they're delirious due to hunger.
Mm-hmm.
That they attack back, and then they realize it's civilians, and they feel terrible. He's like, oh my God, I thought all the civilians had left. And then Nagato, in anger, lashes out and kills them because he has the Rinnegan, which is the strongest ocular jutsu.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's like number 3 because there's the Sharingan, and then there's whatever the fuck we want to call Kaguya's version of Byakugan. Because hers is special. And then
but the Rinnegan is like the highest achieved in their realm. Like in Naruto, Sasuke, a ninja realm, the Rinnegan would be the highest. Yeah. But once you get outside
the
of
Rinnegan gives you like, it's weird. The Rinnegan gives you power. Like the Rinnegan's power is not the same for everyone that has the Rinnegan. Like how Sharingan is relatively the same for everybody. Yeah. Like, sure, each person has, like, a special Mangekyou Sharingan trait, but Rinnegan, the, like, powers complete, like, when Madara has the Rinnegan, it just amplifies everything he does.
Yeah, he doesn't use, like, the same soul stuff that Pain uses.
Yeah, because Pain's Rinnegan makes it where his chakra exists outside of the realm of life and death. But it could be the reason that Madara's isn't as strong is because his isn't a true Rinnegan.
Yeah.
But then Sasuke gets a true Rinnegan and they fuse it with the Sharingan, but he doesn't get those power. He gets the power to bend space though, which is a big deal. He gets the power, but he can't bend anything in space. He can just bend the space around certain things. Like he can collapse space between 2 points.
But he can also control the points too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's only 2 points.
Yeah.
So, like, the Rinnegan gives you it gives you almost reality control of a certain
because
aspect.
It's not even, because I know Sasuke not only can just control the point itself. You know, you see a jutsu gets thrown, he can say where the jutsu's gonna go, or you know, like you say, the teleportation. You know, going one place to another, so one point to the other. But yeah, no, the Rinnegan literally differs for like everybody that we've seen had it, and it. I don't know if it was supposed to be like that originally. I know they said that because originally it comes from you had to have the Mangekyo Sharingan in order to get the Rinnegan. I know Maru got the Rinnegan somehow in between having the Mangekyo, like right before he died when he was still looking after Kid Obito, and he had the Rinnegan then. I don't know if they say explicitly how he got it from that point, or I just don't remember.
I thought it was from the
Hashirama cells. Yeah. Him getting Hashirama cells and him mixing Senju and Uchiha.
Yeah, to get the it's when you mix the blood of the brothers that you get the Rinnegan. So the fact that what's his name? Like the reason Nagato's is so powerful is probably because he's probably like we don't have it confirmed, but every redhead except Gaara and Nagato are Uzumakis, and Uzumakis are Senjus. Or they're both descended from Ashura. Like they're both. Because
I think Nagato comes from some same line that, because you know him, Karin, Kushina,
Mito.
Yeah, they all were said.
They all have the same red hair.
Yeah,
they're all
Uzumakis. They came from that.
They're all Uzumaki, and Uzumakis come from the Eddie village, and the Eddie village have a special chakra. Why did I say chakra? But they have a special chakra that gives them like special powers. But I don't think it's confirmed that that Nagato's a Uzumaki, but it's just like super implied. And then the Uzumakis are just like descendants of the Senjus. Or they're distant cousins. But we don't know how distant, but we know they're both sons of Indra. Not Indra. They're both sons of Ashura. And then the Uchihas are sons of Indra. Which is the first version of canon evil in the story.
Yeah.
So he shows Naruto shows Nagato his resolve when it comes to fighting peace, and he gives Nagato a reasonable answer. Naruto gives Nagato a answer to the way to find peace that's better than the answer Nagato had.
Yeah. The way he had been going about things, the answer that he originally had, Naruto tells him an answer, and it's better, almost.
Because his original answer is just to brainwash everyone into not hating each other. But Naruto's is to show people that not hating each other is better than hating each other. It's basically to believe in people is how you get people to not hate each other anymore. Believing in people's capacity not to hate each other is basically what Naruto's solution is. It's believing in the concept or the idea that we can believe in each other. And that belief in each other will stop hate. And Nagato's just like, damn, that's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
And he's just like, well, how do we know that that's how you're going to feel later on?
Later on, yeah.
And he's just like, because I carry the will of my master. And if my mind changes on this, I'll have to change my name, because then I'll no longer be Naruto, because then it'll be a different story.
Precisely.
Which is a really good line, because the Japanese version, he literally says, then it'll be a different story, and I'll no longer carry my master's will with me. And that's pretty powerful. And so if you think about it, because remember, Jiraiya is the archetype of the sage. He's literally Pervy Sage. Like, that's his nickname. So here, the Sage gives you what you need to take on the battle. So Naruto is given what he needs to win the battle from the Sage. And it's not the power he's accumulated. It's the, like, this whole time we thought it was the power that Jiraiya taught him. That is what makes Naruto strong. But it turns out that's not what makes him strong. It's the knowledge that he learned from the Sage that made him strong. It's not like how Sasuke is convinced that it's power that'll make him strong. It's not the power, it's the ethos that'll make him strong. It's the metaphysical things that'll make you strong.
Not the literal getting enough power to destroy the whole world. It's, bringing the people together, making sure no hatred in the world, keeping in peace.
Yeah, and then we go from Nagato learning that Naruto's gonna save the world from itself. He uses his Gedo.
Rene Rebirth.
It's Gedo art, Rene Rebirth. And so he uses his full power to revive everybody that he killed because there's enough time. And you find out that was how Madara intended to come back to life. But he used it to bring back the Leaf Villagers first. And in doing so, he dies. But it's like the imagery is really interesting because he sacrifices himself on a cross to pay for the sins of the Leaf Villages past.
I can see that.
Because it's the mistakes of the Leaf Village in the Second Great Ninja War that caused all of that in the first place.
Because it was the Second Great Ninja War that caused Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan, all their stuff.
Yeah, all their problems.
All their...
Like, it results in... Like, if you remember, Danzo's directly responsible for Yahiko's death. Because, what's his name? Hanzo and Danzo make a plan to kill Yahiko.
Yeah.
And then that's when they find out that Nagato has the Rinnegan. And he kills, like, an entire army of Rain Ninja by himself. Because he releases the Gedo statue. And then Hanzo has to run away because he has no chance. And then, after using Gedo art, Rene Rebirth, he's able to bring everyone back to life that died in the fight. And we get to see Naruto achieve his original goal from being a kid, which is to be acknowledged by everyone.
Yep.
And he becomes the savior of the village.
I still remember that scene of he was tired coming back, and you know what, Kakashi's like, you know what, bro, you've done enough, I'll carry you, and coming up out of that forest and seeing everybody.
In the Japanese version, he literally says, just lean on me for now.
Yeah. No, I think in the English version said it too.
I haven't seen the English version forever. Japanese is the last version I watched. But he says, lean on me, you've done enough. And then he's like, damn, he's gotten heavy.
Yeah.
Because it does a flashback to the first time he had to carry Naruto.
Yep.
Because in Kakashi's head, like, we don't know this, but Kakashi sees Naruto as his little brother because Minato was like his dad. So he sees Naruto as his adopted little brother.
The same way
which is
you
why,
would look.
Growing up, he was so much harder on Naruto than the other two. Is because how close he was to Naruto's dad.
You know, that actually makes more sense than my original thought, because my original thought he was hard on Naruto because Sasuke was always considered a genius and Sakura wasn't even, teachable to me at that point.
He is, because Minato's his surrogate father, that he has to be tough because Minato is the greatest ninja since Hashirama. Like, it's no discussion. Like, Minato was the greatest ninja since Hashirama. So, if my surrogate dad, the my father figure is the greatest man since the original greatest man, and his son is just a fucking knucklehead loser, and I'm his teacher.
Yeah.
I'm busting his ass. Like, how dare you disrespect both of our dads, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how Kakashi is with it. He's
like I'm saying, that makes a ton of more sense than my original idea. Because I see it now. Because you can say
he sets it up for you. That's what makes it so smart, though. Like how Kishimoto did. He sets it up to just think, oh, he just wants him to catch up to Sasuke since Naruto's so far behind.
Yeah.
But it turns out he's actually just like, I just want you to live up to your potential because I know who your parents are, and they're the two greatest people I've ever met. How dare you smirk their name by just being a troublemaker?
Yeah. It's like he knows the potential you can have. I knew your dad. Because I was going to say, you can even say that outside of Kakashi's dad, Minato was the next person he looked up to. So even seeing that, like, bro, Kakashi himself is already a great ninja. He looked up to a great ninja. You're his son. The great ninja I looked up to, you're his kid. You're going to be a great ninja if I got anything to say about it.
And then, like, you learn that Minato is the reason Kakashi doesn't lose himself to despair because it's Kakashi's fault they failed the mission.
Yeah.
And all the bad stuff that happens.
Obito dying, Ren dying.
Yeah, all that stuff's his fault. Minato's the one that helped him keep it together through all that.
Yup.
So,
which is even crazy because it's relatively known just how, like, Kakashi just gives no fucks. Like, you know, the Sasuke thing when it's like, do you know how many people that I gotta kill to get you to understand, or how many people you got left in this world?
He says, what if I killed everyone you ever cared about?
Yeah. What if I killed everybody you love and it's just straight face? They're already dead.
Remember, he smiles. It says, already done. And then Sasuke's just like, what? Till you find out, like, everybody but his best friend was murdered, and all but one of them was his fault. Or, no, all but two, like, his dad wasn't his fault.
Right.
And also, the thing with Obito, like, made him realize that, like, everything Kakashi thought about his life was wrong. Like, he thought his dad was a loser, and Obito helped him realize, no, my dad's, like, the greatest dude ever. Like, if you remember, his the whole thing was his dad sacrificed his, his reputation to save his comrades. And Obito gives him one of my favorite speeches in anime of, yes, whoever disobeys the mission is scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. Like, that line made Kakashi realize, like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, it made his because before he thought his dad was a loser.
Yeah, because just like how we said in the last episode, these are kids that are raised to go to war.
Yeah.
So his dad pretty much, like, sacrificing a mission to save his comrade was, like, low to him because he always wanted to be the best at what he was doing. He always wanted to be at the top. And to be at the top, you had to be the best in the eyes of the village. So if the village say, you fucked up when you saved this dude, you should have saved the mission, of course it's going to mess him up mentally. And now that makes it even more crazier because now Obito was the one that gave us that hardest one line, anyone who abandons their friends is worse than scum, which we got from Kakashi first in the story, just to come back around in a full circle and realize Obito was the one that said it. So now you come back down, trickle down, now you get to Naruto, got that same teaching from Kakashi. Oh, if I abandon my friends, I'm worse than scum. And that kind of set the precedent for a lot of things that Naruto kind of does. I mean, it just fit in with his character for real. Like, him being the one that want to save the village, save his people. It makes sense for him to have that exact same viewpoint.
Well, also, we can't get into this because we're not there yet. But Obito was supposed to be the reincarnation of Ashura, but it's weird that he was supposed to be the reincarnation of Ashura because he becomes a reincarnation of Indra.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Indra's supposed to be Uchiha's.
Yeah.
But Is
And
this time?
if you look at Kakashi, you can say he probably, with him saying, having that resentment for his dad and stuff, was on the road, not started, but was on the road to starting off as Indra.
Yeah, because he's by himself.
Yeah, and then he slowly becomes Ashura. So
Well, they're.
Well, not fully. I ain't saying fully, but like he takes on some of those criteria, some of those qualities.
Yeah. But we don't have, the thing is, the Obito doesn't have an Indra to his Ashura. So when he dies, when he, air quote, dies, when he gets crushed by the rock, there was no reincarnation, so it didn't matter. But he was clearly supposed to be Ashura, but he becomes Indra. Yeah. Which is very, what's the correct word? I don't want to say sad. Poetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poetic's probably the right word there. So then.
No, it is poetic, because think about it. Kakashi and Obito were supposed to be before Sasuke and Naruto.
Yeah, they're the generation before.
Yeah, so when you think about it, the fact that both of them kind of did that, crossed over and went to a different path, just lets them know, because the people who, well, not really, they were watching. Well, in Naruto's case, he was being watched over by Kakashi, and for a small part of the story, Sasuke was answering Obito. So it's poetic because it's both of them had crossed to the other side already.
Their journeys mirror.
Yeah, but both of them had already been to the other side, and the people who they wanted was trying to keep them from going to the other side. Kakashi trying to keep Naruto out of the path of hatred, Obito trying to keep Sasuke on that path of hatred. Both serving Obito serving
but also
his own
they
views.
Started from, the weird thing is, Obito was the reincarnation of Ashura, but he's a descendant of Indra. That's another thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, because if you look, every other time it was 1-to-1. Madara's the reincarnation of Indra, but he's also Indra's great grandson. Same with Hashirama. He's Ashura's great grandson. And then the next reincarnation was Obito, and we don't know who Indra's reincarnation was, but he's a direct descendant of Madara, so he's a direct descendant of Indra, but he's a reincarnation of Ashura, which is weird, because he's not a direct descendant of Ashura. Unless we find out, in the thing, that, Obito's mom is a Uzumaki or something. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be perfect.
That would explain why Obito's so OP. Because him being so OP doesn't really make that much sense when you think about it. Because, his body parts that didn't get crushed is for some reason. He has, everyone has superhuman strength in Naruto, but he has much greater superhuman strength. You see, he kills, 4 Ambus with the fucked up half Zetsu body. He kills 4 Abu Black Ops with his bare hands.
Yeah.
He chokes them out. He chokes him out with one hand.
Yeah, he didn't even have his
Crushes
powers awakened then when he went on that rampage.
What powers? He had Kamui.
Kamui. Did he use it?
Yeah, remember, that's the only reason he didn't instantly lose, was Kamui. Because
it's been a while.
Because that's how he teleports around in the fight. But we're not there yet. We got to go back. So Naruto gets celebrated as the hero of the leaf. And then we cut to the preparation for the Kage Summit.
Yeah.
But before that, Sasuke attacks Killer Bee, who is the 8-tailed Jinchuriki. And him and all 3 of his homies get the shit absolutely beat out of them.
No contest.
It's so bad that Killer Bee's putting so little effort into it that he is writing raps in the middle of fighting. And it's made even more impressive by the fact that he holds his swords with his elbow. Remember that shit? He holds a sword behind both knees, in his elbows, in his hands, and in his mouth. And I think in his toes sometimes too. Like
he has
grabs
8
them with
sword
his toe.
style.
Yeah.
Hands, elbows, knees, mouth. I know he has one.
And isn't it
mouth.
like one toe?
Might be.
One
It
hole
might be.
this way? Because he can make extra hands with his tailed beast.
Whew.
If you remember, because how he works with him and his tailed beast are so perfectly matched. Like
So
they're so
perfectly
perfect
in sync.
for each other. Like they're best friends. And so he's able to do stuff that no other Jinchuriki can do. Like he can manifest as a Jinchuriki. Like he can manifest as into like how Naruto does the chakra cloak stuff. He can do that with his actual body.
Yeah.
But it has to be part of his like body that makes him special, because when Naruto gets to a similar point, he can't do that. It's
Right.
still a chakra cloak for Naruto.
Yeah, because he don't even go through because like after he goes through the training in the waterfall, he doesn't get back to the rage cloaks he was using before. He goes to something completely different.
And it's if you remember, it's actually styled after the Sage of Six Paths power. Like he has the symbol.
The Tomoe,
He has the symbols. On
yeah,
him.
the Tomoe, and the
Six, and then the seal.
yeah.
His seal, and then like it's
You
like
know what? I think I finally sort of think or have an idea why the Nine Tails was stronger, like than all of them, because I always had that problem where like Naruto got all this hype power, the Sage of Six Path, all that, just and that. Well, maybe the Nine Tails has the most amount of like that Sage chakra versus everyone else.
we know that Kurama's the strongest
Yeah,
because
like by
you
leagues.
can't seal, or you had to hold all of the Nine Tails. You have to be the only people that were strong enough to seal the Nine Tails were Uzumaki's.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, the Nine Tails is so strong that he couldn't seal all of it within Naruto. He could only seal half, and he sealed the other half with his soul. Which is why he looks like when in the war, when Minato is helping Naruto, when he can go QB mode, is because he's the other half. So when he dies, the reason Naruto has such a big power up is because Kurama gets all of his chakra back.
So now he's holding the full Nine Tails instead of just 50%.
Yeah, so, and we know each tail makes the more tails, the more chakra. But it's like significantly more chakra. Like, we don't know the exact power scaling, but it's implied that that it's a direct multiplier. Because, like, they imply that the two-tailed is twice as strong as Shikaku.
Mm-hmm.
And then they imply that the three-tailed is significantly stronger than the two-tailed, but we don't know how much. And we know that Kurama is much stronger than the eight-tails. Like, we know that Kurama is much stronger. We just don't have a conceptualization of how much stronger. But we know Kurama is significantly stronger. Also, the Eight Tails doesn't take a special vessel. Kurama takes a special vessel. He's only been sealed inside Uzumaki's. Like, that's how strong the Nine Tails is he can only be sealed inside of special hand-picked people. So, like, Naruto, the only reason he works is because he has so much chakra. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to be sealed inside Naruto. Because Naruto has the second most chakra of anyone ever.
Who's first?
Kisame.
Really?
Yep. Without any external factors. That's why the sword likes him so much.
Yeah.
It's because the sword feeds off chakra. So he's like the only ordinary human that can use the sword without dying.
I wouldn't say he's ordinary,
but yeah. Well, remember he's the zero-tailed Jinchuriki.
Yeah.
So he's not a normal human, but he's like as close to a normal human that can use the sword. Like besides him, it would have to be a tailed beast Jinchuriki that wields the sword, just because of how it is with chakra. Like it eats the chakra of whoever's wielding it.
That makes sense why B got it.
Yeah, remember, because it's just like it realizes how much more chakra he has than Kisame, so it chooses him over Kisame. And then we go from B absolutely bodying Sasuke and Co. to the 5 Kage Summit. And there's some in between, but I don't remember any of it really mattering for the metaphor. Like there's Naruto meeting Dari and what's her name? Is it Saori?
You talking about the redhead?
The girl?
That Choji marries.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. But like Naruto like single-handedly beats them both in a fight because they try to jump Sai, and he does that clean thing where he kicks the sword back into its sheath.
Yeah, I know.
And they think they won, but it turns out it's just a clone, and he's just like, "Yo, what's up?"
Whole Rasengan.
Yeah.
Thought you had me, huh? Thought you had it.
Call an ambulance, but not for me. That's what he does to those people, bro. And then we get the 5 Kage Summit for them to talk about the war.
I remember now. That was Naruto was pleading to the Raikage to not go through with the order to kill Sasuke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that's before the 5 Kage Summit.
Yeah, right before.
Yeah. Because there's like a kill Sasuke, but the leaf was told to bring Sasuke in.
And also, that was the time when Sakura told Naruto she loved him.
And he's just like, I'm sorry, but not his boobies are prettier.
Man, real talk though, man. Why Sakura wait till all this time to want to get Naruto, man?
Because he is
him
a millionaire now. Remember, he's the official spokesperson for like Ichiraka Ramen and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And he's. I remember there was some other stuff like Naruto's rich after that point. Remember, Naruto's officially rich.
Yeah.
Because remember, he unwittingly did what his mom asked him to do, and he saved every dime he ever made. Remember, because that was one of it. She told him.
Yeah.
One of her dying wishes is that he would save all of his money, but now he's rich. Post pain, he's rich. Well, so he's not rich. It's just he has more money than any 16-year-old can ever spend.
Yeah, he's living very well.
Like in a world without yachts, he's got an unspendable amount of money for a 16-year-old that doesn't care about women like that. Yeah, like also he's not a womanizer like that either. It's just so he doesn't have to worry about that, and he doesn't like alcohol. Because, like, remember, he, like, accidentally drinks it with Jiraiya, and he's like, this is terrible. In, like, one of the filler episodes of the original Naruto.
But no, we go into the 5 Kage Summit when all the Kage there, Gaara, Mizukage, Tsuchikage, they trying to kill Sasuke, and guess who pull up?
Sasuke pulls up.
Pull up.
And it's hilarious because the Raikage decides to show him some hospitality and fold his clothes with Sasuke still in them.
Because it's funny because Sasuke really came in the 5 Kage Summit against 5 of the strongest recognized ninja of that time and say he want to fight. Just because he just came off a power trip, just got his brother's eyes, he trying to use that new
unlocked
Susanoo.
his Susanoo and everything.
Yeah, he trying to use that thing, boy. And
oh no! Before the 5 Kage Summit is when he fights Danzo, right? Or is it after?
I think it's at.
I can't remember now.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out. Hold up. It's been a while, man.
I know if that's the problem. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's it.
Crap. I don't know why I want to say it's before, but I could 100% be wrong.
So episode 209 is when he fights Danzo.
Crunchyroll, you'll never be a sponsor of this channel because your app sucks so much.
Before.
Huh?
It was before.
He does fight Danzo?
The Kage Summit was before.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
202 is when he fights for Kage. And was it 206 that I just saw? 209. 209.
And then when's he fight Danzo?
209.
So it's right after.
Right after.
So, but yeah, the Raikage extends his hospitality of the Cloud Village and just folds Sasuke's clothes for him. He just doesn't let Sasuke get out of him first.
I'm talking about like
beats the fuck out that kid.
Expeditiously, because like he go in fighting, he's getting thrown around, he's getting beat up, and the only reason that Raikage lost his arm because he just got a little careless. He even says it. Yeah.
Well, it gets even funnier when you think about it like this, that Sasuke is just like, hell yeah, my brother's one of the greatest ninjas ever, and I killed him, and that makes me a great ninja too. And then he pulls up, and he's just like, I've never seen a black guy before. Just like the stereotypical white kid that shows up on the fucking blacktop to play basketball. It's like, oh, dude, I know I'm going to win this shit. And then fucking he be's a little racist. Because if I remember correctly, he says something kind of racist to the Raikage in the Japanese version. And then the Raikage's just like, bet, and then beats the fuck out of him. Like, so bad that he has to use a Mataratsu to like distract the Raikage, and the Raikage just cuts his arm off and goes,
round 2.
I'm sorry, but if you do that in front of me in the middle of a fight,
bro, you got it.
I tap out. You win.
Boy,
congratulations, sir. I'd shake your hand, but you lost it, so goodbye. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I'm talking about just. It wasn't even like no build up neither. It's like he see a Mataratsu on his arm and it's just like
he understands the arm's gone, so he just goes.
Like as soon as he seen it, it's like, oh, I know what this is. Gone. Oh, it. No,
and then
no
proceeds
contest.
to land a fucking a Liger bomb on his ass.
Yeah, mind you, he's now still beating his ass with now one arm.
No, remember he punches him with the fucking stump. That shit was wild.
Bro.
Remember that shit? He hits him.
Took the biggest L going against the Kage.
I think he hits him in the face with it. I think he hits him in the face with the stump, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he just gets his ass beat, and then they all have to drag Sasuke out, and Sasuke's just like, no, I can still take him. I got this. Let me back in there. No. And the Raikage's just like, yes, let him back in here.
Nah, I ain't hear no bell. Let him back in here. He need to get this work. He gonna get this work.
Nah, what's it called? Sasuke is pulling that Randy Marsh. He's like, what? I thought this was America. Thing when he gets arrested thing while they're pulling him out, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna kill all the Kage. And the Raikage is just like, no, you're not,
bruh. But now that we see that the Danzo's fights like right after this. And now that's the same fight when he sees Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi again with the iconic scene of him telling Kakashi that he was gonna kill everybody he knows, and he's just staring at him. And it's like Kakashi's looking at him, just this far gone student who's just went so far to the dark side. But he sees Naruto, and it's like Naruto's still Naruto, and he knows that Naruto's gotten way stronger than he was before. Like, it ain't even a contest. Like, and when you think about it, Sasuke just fought, he killed Itachi now. Also, we didn't mention at some point in there, he had fought Deidara right before Killer Bee.
Oh yeah, he got.
Yeah.
That's how he get. That was his initiation.
Yeah, that was his initiation into
kill
the Akatsuki
Deidara.
was to kill Deidara.
But I don't think he killed Deidara. I think Deidara lives.
He killed himself.
Yeah, that's what he kills himself because it's the ultimate expression of his art.
Yeah. And then he goes to fight Killer Bee. We know he gets mobbed. Then just to turn around and go fight the 5 Kage, get even more mobbed.
Yeah. No, what makes it even funnier is the third Raikage is B's older brother. And B's just like, yeah, I've never beat my older brother without using my Jinchuriki power. And so he
thought he had a chance.
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of Sasuke, dude.
Bro, he really thought he had a chance. But you get to that, and then now he leaves that and goes, he had just off Danzo.
He goes, drinks Karin's blood, recovers.
Yeah. And then goes and fights Danzo. That's when we find out about the eyes, and we get all the backstory with the Izanagi. And then Sasuke pulls up to Team 7, and it's just like, that was also Sai's first time meeting him. And, bro, like...
It's just like, wow, you suck, Sai.
Yeah, like, he really, like, that's who y'all replaced me with?
Why does he look like me with Down syndrome? That's what Sasuke's thinking.
But...
Like,
yeah.
you just replaced me with an autistic twink, you fuckers. That's basically what's going through Sasuke's head right now. Like, you replaced me with an autistic twink that wants to write manga. I hate you so much.
All he wanted to do is draw every day. But nah, Naruto at that point, bro, still, like, he's seeing Sasuke still want to save him. Sasuke seeing him still want to kill him. But Sasuke can't do it. I mean, a part of it's because how... You know, he done ran the gauntlet, but at the same time, Naruto ain't that kid no more, bro. This ain't Final Valley no more.
Naruto is probably the stronger of the two. Well, if Naruto goes Jinchuriki cloaked, he's 100% stronger at that time. Even if it's just one tail cloak, we know Naruto's stronger at the time. Also, Naruto has the stronger jutsu.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rasen Shuriken is one of the strongest energy bomb jutsus in the show, period.
Yeah, period.
Like, we know, we've learned that it's one of the strongest in the show, period. And, like, Naruto's taijutsu is better than Sasuke's, but Sasuke has Mangekyou Go Sharingan. So, it counters the Naruto's hand-to-hand combat being better. But also, like, Naruto can summon, like, thousands of clones now. Like, yeah. Sharingan can tell which one's the real one, but he can just, like, I think if they, like, fall all out at that point, I think Naruto wins.
That's even before the final fight, like, before the war, all that. I could see it.
But also, like, post-war, Naruto gets 100% of his QB power to make up for the fact that Sasuke gets Rinnegan. So, like...
He also gets, like, all the tail beasts and stuff, too.
No. He doesn't have it in the final fight, remember?
Yeah, Sasuke took him.
Yeah, and put him in a meteor.
Planetary devastations.
And then...
Chibaku Tensei.
Yeah. But I think Naruto would have folded Sasuke up if they actually went all out there. Just because, like,
Toby didn't save him. Obito didn't save him.
And then we get the Danzo versus Sasuke. So it's kind of cathartic when you think about it, having that fight. Because Danzo's one of the reasons why Sasuke's life turned out the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it wasn't for Danzo, Itachi and Sasuke probably could have been spared from their, like, all the horrible shit that happened. If it wasn't for Danzo wanting power. Because we don't, like, he had one of those eyes from before, right? Before the Uchihas died? Or did he get them all from the Uchiha slaughter? I can't remember.
I would imagine he did it all during the Uchiha slaughter, but it might have been something that said that he did it during while they was alive. They just didn't say it. I gotta see.
Because I think, like, he got some of them during that, and then some of them before, I think. I can't remember. I know he has like an attendant that has like stolen Byakugan and shit too, and all sorts of crazy shit. Like so much like crazy Black Ops shit. Because like clans are super secretive and super protective of their Gekke Genkai. But yeah, we need like a third person to look stuff up while we're talking.
Yeah.
So we get the Danzo fight. We learn all the stuff about Izanagi, who, by the way, that's very fitting. Izanagi is the head god in Shinto mythology, and Izunami is the queen in Shinto mythology. But Danzo just uses a bunch of Izanagis to avoid death until Sasuke is finally just like, yep, that's enough of that bullshit. And so when Danzo uses all of them, it's... So, how many eyes does Danzo have again? Is it 6?
I think it's 6.
Because he's got the eye that he covers up. Because I know he has the eye that he covers up is a Sharingan.
10.
Before. He's got 10. Okay.
He's got 10.
Okay. I know the, what's it called? His eye that is covered up is a Sharingan before the massacre. Because during the Second Great Ninja War, he has it. But I can't remember when he gets all the rest of them. Because I think he has like a different eye from each person. That way he can get their Mangekyo Go power or whatever. Doesn't he? Like they're not all from the same person?
No, they're not, but none of them have Mangekyo.
I thought the one in his face did. Oh, I couldn't remember.
He has no Mangekyo power?
Oh, then that implies that what's it called? That it's that implies that that he got him. He had to get him from the slaughter.
No, he did get Shisui's right eye.
Yeah, that's what. See, motherfucker,
But he never used it though.
I knew that he had a fucking Mangekyo Go.
Great Genjutsu, but he never used it.
Yeah, I knew that he had fucking. Cause what's it called? His eye is covered at the start of the Great Ninja War, so it's probably just like a regular Sharingan. And then when he got a hold of Susui's body, he probably just like slotted it in. But that fight, we can see it as Sasuke getting to kill the person that made him sell his soul, you know? Like, as the true devil. Cause Danzo's like the Shadow Kage. Isn't Danzo where we get the title of Shadow Kage? Who gives us the title of Shadow Kage?
I think it was Sasuke. I don't know. Unless they called it because Danzo was never fully inaugurated as a Kage.
No. Like, remember, Sasuke is not fully inaugurated as Shadow Hokage either.
Like, he just gave that title to himself. I don't think he was inaugurated as it. I don't think anybody was.
No, it's just the title for, like, the second highest. It's just what people call it. It's not like a actual title. But he like silently controlled the Leaf Village for like since at least Hiruzen took over from Tobirama. At least. We don't know.
Let's see.
We don't know outside of that. Like before that.
So in this it said it was Hiruzen.
Hiruzen what?
It was Danzo Shadow Hokage.
That probably means that Danzo was Hiruzen Shadow Hokage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Danzo was the one that like the Shadow Hokage term came from. Cause what's it called? I knew I heard it before they called Sasuke it. But what's it called? With in the Danzo fight, Sasuke fights the one that sacrificed his family, which is like, I hate keep using the term poetic, but I can't think of a better term, that he gets to fight the person that sacrificed his brother's soul. He gets to fight the devil that sold his brother's soul.
Climactic?
No, I wouldn't think. Poetic just seems like the only word I can think of that's right. But it feels like it's not a strong enough word to fully show how big of a deal it is. But then we go from that. We go from there to, what's it called? Danzo being the Shadow Hokage. You could see him being the dark side of the Leaf Village.
Yo, for
so
sure.
Sasuke is fighting the dark side of the Leaf Village. He's fighting everything that's wrong with the systems of the Leaf Village.
Because, you know, it makes sense because not only you say the dark side of the Leaf Village, you know, Danzo founded the Foundation.
Yeah.
Foundation was basically the terrorist group for the Leaf.
Well, it's like this NSA for the Leaf Village.
Yeah.
Like when one of their members show up, someone's dying type shit.
Yeah.
Like that's some NSA shit right there.
Yeah.
That's like because it's designed for national security or village security, but the fight can be seen as a couple of different things. It's Sasuke fighting the devil that sold his brother's soul, or that stole his brother's soul. He's fighting the thing that stole his innocence. You know, like, because after his family was killed, he didn't have a childhood. He was forced to grow up immediately with all that death and stuff. And I love the fact that, going back to the Obito talk, you find out that part of what Sasuke thought happened, like all the terrible shit that he saw, was actually just Itachi's genjutsu. Remember? It's like Itachi like mocking him and everything never happened. Like, Itachi might have actually patted him on the head, gave him some milk, and said, "I'm so sorry that I had to do this." But we would never know because he had him trapped in a genjutsu when it happened. And then you can also see Danzo and Sasuke's fight as Sasuke trying to, since it's the shadow of the leaf, you could see it as him like trying to conquer his shadow, but he doesn't succeed, and it just makes him go deeper. By killing him, makes him fall deeper and deeper into his own despair. And then after the Danzo fight, we have the preparations for the Ninja War and some filler. Like some throwback filler. I'm trying to remember how the Great Ninja War started. Do you remember?
You remember when they introduced Kabuto for that second time? When we first saw
when he spent the time in the cave trying to figure out how to what's it called? He wanted to learn Sage Jutsu because he wanted to learn who he was.
Yep. You had that meeting that him and Obito had right before in the same cave when they pretty much told each other, like they said what they were about to do. And when the war starts, like officially, you know, they pull all the, like the allied shinobi forces together and stuff. And they do that first little battle when they're trying to get to the battlefield. And you know, first it was just them versus a bunch of white Zetsu. Before Madara even showed up anything, it was just them versus a bunch of white Zetsu.
And they the Kages ship Naruto and B off, since they're the only Jinchurikis they haven't captured yet.
Yeah.
Because they just captured the sixth tail, like shortly after that. And we learn the backstory of Rin trying to be forced to be the three-tailed
Yeah.
sometime near there, but not exactly there. Like when we're learning backstory of the tailed beast. The sixth tail gets captured, so they ship them off to the island for Naruto to learn how to conquer the nine tails.
And if you remember, they weren't letting him in the war. The war had started, and he wasn't even getting in there because they was trying to hold him. And that was part of the reason in that training that he ended up leaving because they couldn't hold him anymore.
And then on the island, Naruto has to go to the waterfall of the self, and he meets a shadow version of himself that's a lot of his negative emotions. And he has to overcome his negative emotions. He has to overcome a darker side of himself before he can attempt to overcome Kurama. And then they go in the temple. Him and Killer Bee play a joke on Yamato to pretend that he died. And then they're in that place, the special room designed for Jinchurikis to meditate and take control. And Naruto starts the process of capturing the Jinchuriki. But remember, he doesn't even try to learn Kurama's name or anything. He's just trying to get the chakra out of him. And he starts losing. And you could see that as he's losing to his shadow, like his shadow, he's about to become shadow possessed and turn into like the nine-tailed fox. He's about to turn shadow possessed. But right before he does, he meets a redheaded woman in his mind, and it stops the process of turning into the fox like halfway. And then she introduces himself as his mom, and he gets to live out one of his dreams of having a conversation with his mom. And it's so fucking sad. But it's like sad in a good way. Like you're so happy for him. You're just like, my boy, you did it, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you finally got to talk to the person that you've wanted to talk to more than anybody else.
Your entire life.
And she explains what happened on the day of his birth. And we get one of the single greatest scenes ever animated of Naruto versus they just call him Masked Man at this point, but we know it's Obito. Or we know it's Toby. We don't know it's Obito. Because he wears a modified version of Toby's mask. It's like a modified version of Toby's second mask.
Yeah. The one with just the curse mark crap looking stuff on it.
It's just the white version of that one.
Yep.
It looks like the Gato statue's face.
Yeah.
And then he it's hard to conceptualize how crazy that fight scene is, because how Toby fights is so weird, since he has the ability to go through things. He wears chains to catch people, but Minato figures it out and throws the fucking modified kunai, so that right when
it goes
Toby touches him, he can activate Flying Raijin and lands the fucking giant Rasengan. Or no, it's a massive Rasengan. It's not giant. Giant is Sage Art, but he lands the massive Rasengan, like the one that's the size of a basketball. Lands it. It destroys the place that they're fighting in because of how strong it is. And then he uses that time to mark him with the formula. And so when the masked man tries to run away, he teleports right in front of him and stabs him. And just utterly beats him. But then he has to sacrifice himself to the Nine Tails to make sure that the village can't be overrun due to being weakened heavily by the loss of a Jinchuriki. And we see there that the mother and the father are willing to sacrifice themselves for the self. What comes before is willing to sacrifice themselves for the new generation, which is a recurring theme in Naruto. is that the older generation is willing to sacrifice itself from the younger, except for like Sasuke is like against that, which is weird. Like Sasuke is not with that shit because Sasuke is an asshole. There's no better way to say it than Sasuke is a piece of shit. At this point in the story, like Sasuke is just a piece of shit. I got no other way to say it. But we get like a heartbreaking thing from Kushida where she's just like, I hope you turn out to be a great person.
That heart-wrenching scene when she's standing over him about to die. Yeah, with Minato right behind her.
With Kurama's nail poking through. I think it's the middle finger's nail. It's one of the nails. It's through both of them.
Yep.
It's like right through their stomach. And then Minato seals Kurama in himself. And then the other half of Naruto along with Kushina. The last bit of Kushina's spirit. So that she'll meet Naruto when he takes the time to capture Nine Tails. Or control Nine Tails. And then meeting his mom lets him use Kurama's power. But he's not able to use all of Kurama's powers yet because he's taking it. He's not, like, it's not part of him. He just takes it. But he's he's so much more powerful than like everyone else in the story at this point now. Like it's not even close. Like, I don't think, like, the only person on his level is like Madara and Obito. Like perfect Susanoo Obito and Madara.
Perfect Susanoo Madara and Obito? So Obito never used Susanoo.
That's what I meant. I got it. I said them out of order. Yeah, because what's his name uses his Susanoo. Kakashi uses his Susanoo. Also, why's Obito got the coolest Susanoo?
Right?
Is it because he can't use it? Is it just to mock him?
It was just a one-time thing that we saw, and they made it the coolest thing ever. Like, the only other Susanoo that I liked before seeing what Obito's would have been when Kakashi used it was Shusui's that we saw.
Yeah, I would like to see Sushui's Susanoo.
You never seen it? It's green. And he has a javelin.
Like, I've seen it in games, but I haven't seen it in, like, I want it animated as the show. Not like a video game animation, but like, you know whose Susanoo I really want to see? Is Sasuke's dad's.
Fugaku?
You know, I want to see his.
That would be dope. You know he could do it. I bet he could do it.
Well, he had to be able to do it. To be on Minato's level, he had to have Mangekyou. Cause who else would have Tachi learned it from besides him and Sushui? And then who would Sushui would have known it existed from? You know what I mean?
We don't know shit about Shusui. Like what he did. All we know is he was really, really good, just like Itachi.
Well, like, wasn't it? He's really, really good when it comes to Genjutsu, but everything else, he's not as good as Itachi.
You know, he had that flicker style. You remember how he fought? He kind of teleported everywhere. I knew that, and that was like overpowered.
But like, we know Itachi was better when it comes to other ninja stuff. Because Itachi became a Jonin at like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And Sushui didn't. So that either means Sushui didn't care to do it, or that he couldn't do it. And odds are, since he has ties to the Foundation, it's that he couldn't do it. Like with how bad Danzo wants him. Danzo would have let him join Anbu if he could have joined Anbu, you know? That way he'd have an excuse to kill him and take his eyes. But Naruto gets the power. He goes fights the twins of Genkaku and Kinkaku.
Genkaku and Kinkaku. The brothers that were eaten by the nine-tailed fox and ate his flesh while they were in their stomach.
Yeah. And then they have the sacred treasures too.
Yeah,
The jar and the fan, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And then Naruto just folds them. Like,
It was breezy.
like no diff. And then we get like there's a bunch of other stuff that happens, but for our metaphor, it doesn't matter. Up until we get to the last 100 episodes, like we can skip about 50 episodes to get to the part that matters for the metaphor of it being a Cain and Abel story. And we got to skip all the way to Naruto and Sasuke participating in the Great Ninja War. Well, actually, we got to back up just a tad to where, like, the reincarnation jutsu matters first. We do got to talk about
the Rene Rebirth.
That's not what Kabuto uses.
No, you talking about reanimation.
Yeah, reanimation jutsu. Yeah. So Kabuto reanimates just about every player that's died in Naruto's history, except for the Hokage.
Yeah.
And it's important that they didn't get brought up. That's a special tool we'll use later. But he made a terrible mistake, Kabuto that is, because he brought Itachi back. And he can choose what they do, but he doesn't get to choose, like, they have to listen to him, but he can't control how they think. So Itachi gives one of the coldest lines in anime history of Kabuto's just like, my jutsu has no flaws. And then Itachi hits him with the, every jutsu has a flaw. And this jutsu's flaw is my existence. And then he fucking gets out of the brain control.
He got out before that. You remember?
It has more cinematic value if it works the way I said it. That's why I said it that way. Okay.
But nah, it was definitely cold. And the way he literally took Kabuto's whole mentality and said, "You're gonna do the right thing, or we just gonna be here. We just gonna continue going through this loop. We're just gonna continue going through these sequences until you understand that you have royally fucked up."
And then we get the whole Izanagi has a counter thing from. We get that from Itachi explains to Sasuke that there's a way to counter Izanagi and make it where it doesn't work like it does, where you basically capture a user in an infinite loop. Well, not even necessarily Izanagi user in an infinite loop. And Kabuto uses it on, or Itachi uses it on Kabuto, and it allows him to not really take a breather from the fight, but it allows him to explain to Sasuke some of the stuff that's going on, which is pretty dope. It allows him to explain what Izanagi is and how it offers a way out to let a Sharingan user with Izanagi learn their lesson and stuff like along those lines. But it like kind of points out Sasuke's hypocrisy when he's giving him the talk to explain it, because it kind of points out like there's a jutsu designed to show you the faults in your way of thinking.
Yeah, that's literally Izanami.
Yeah, but Sasuke thinks his way of thinking still right. When you think his like brother explains to him like there's a jutsu that's designed to show you what you're wrong, like why you're wrong, but he goes, "Oh, that's cool and all, but I'm so right that it doesn't matter." And you see like Sasuke's hubris is kind of
Yeah, big time. Like, it's crazy because out of all the things that Naruto went through and he upgraded and changed his mind and his way of thinking about things versus Sasuke, who went through a lot as well, but never really changed his way of thinking until they got shoved down his throat.
Yeah, until Naruto forced it. But I think that's where we're going to end today's episode. Just because I think the main part of the war, will take as long as this episode has been so far, just because it's so content deep. So next week though will not be an episode on Naruto. The next episode on Naruto is gonna be delayed a few weeks because starting next week we're gonna start a new project, a new exploration into the metaphors and archetypes. And why don't you give them a little preamble about what it's going to be about?
Well, and just like Naruto, we see all the metaphors and archetypes, not just in Naruto, they spread off across more than other animes. And the next anime we will be looking at is One Piece, because there are a lot of metaphors in One Piece to look over, but one very, very important correlation to look into.
And that is how one of the greatest philosophers of all time, Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, and how Luffy might be history's first actual conceptualization of the Übermensch, and how Oda Sensei teaches us to overcome nihilism in the modern age.
Gonna be a great one.
So how we're going to do it, we're not going to do it like this. We just happen to know Naruto super well because we've seen it too many times. But for the One Piece one, we're going to go in 10 to 15 episode chunks. That way we can fully break down the metaphor. But the first episode is going to be the first 10 episodes of One Piece and the preamble to our argument of why Luffy might be history's first Übermensch, or the Overman, if you will.
So definitely make sure y'all tune into that. If you like this and what we said, you have any comments, any concerns, please leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe and like the page. Tell these folks about us. We're trying to get it right.
Yeah, and y'all have a good one. Thanks for listening.